Hey, Mr. Jordan.
Good afternoon, Judge. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad it's a small county.
I know, right?
Had a
Good
real big one last
afternoon,
week,
Your
though.
Honor.
I got the big one today. Oh, Mr. Trejo, I've not seen you on a Saturday in a while.
How are you doing today, Judge? Good to see
I'm
you.
good. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Good. Who else do you? Who else is with you?
Miss Woodbury.
It's Woodbury.
Me, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Good.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you? All
Good.
right. And you by yourself, Mr. Walker?
No, Mr. Pierre Thomas is on the line. Good
Oh,
afternoon.
I see him. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. There you go. All righty. Thought y'all were making Mr. Walker do it all by himself. He can, but good to have some company, I bet.
Yes.
All right, we'll get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested, and the Fulton County Solicitor General has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's first time or initial appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. What's our SAP date, Mr. Jordan?
12/28/2023.
All right, 12/28. All right. And I want to begin by reminding all the defendants on this calendar and reminding everyone too that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. We're going to, and I want to also remind the defendants that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you obviously have right to counsel. You should know who your attorneys are by this time and listen to their instructions as we go forward. Also, want to remind the defendants that you have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts or circumstances or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. States here and they're listening. So listen to your attorneys. All right, who do we have first, deputies?
Position number one, Ms. Duncan.
Okay. All right, this is 23 CR 008027B. D'Ebony Duncan, charged with one count of reckless driving, a second count DUI under the influence of alcohol and failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, pre-trial.
I got first arrest. Jail was a recommendation.
All right.
Your Honor,
State.
very brief facts of the case is that the accused is alleged to have been driving recklessly by failing to stop at a road closure and traveling on the wrong side of the interstate and traveling the wrong way up a ramp. She was also alleged to have been driving under the influence less safe, and she failed to, according to the citation, she failed to maintain lane when I believe it stated that she crossed over the fog line at the location. The recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving while out on bond, Your Honor.
Okay. And which PD?
Rose Woodbury from the PD's office, Judge. We are in agreement with the signature bond, Judge. She has a master's degree, Your Honor, and a bachelor's degree. She is gainfully employed by Allstate as a medical fraud investigator. This is her first arrest, so we'd ask for a signature bond today.
All right. So there's not a charge. I'm making sure on her driver's license. Her license, I guess, would have been suspended because of the DUI.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I'm going to give the signature bond. I was thinking about the condition of no driving. Sounds like she needs to get to work. I don't know if she works from home or what.
I think she would need to get to work, Your Honor. We would ask that condition not be included on the bond.
Well, if they took her license and she doesn't have a valid license, then she can't drive. So what I'll
Right.
say is she can drive as long as she has a valid license in her possession. I've seen different things happen sometimes depending on which jurisdiction arrested her. Some take the license, some don't. Most of them do. But if she does not have a license in her possession, then I do not want her driving, obviously.
Yes,
She'll have
Judge.
to do ride shares to get to work. So on the first charge of reckless driving, a $500 signature bond through the jail. With the DUI, $1,000 SOB jail. And then the failure to maintain lane, $500. So that'll be a $2,000 bond SOB jail. No driving unless she has a valid driver's license in her possession. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Position number 10.
This is 23 CR 008031C, Kayla Shizelki, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the last name. Charge of 1 count of harassing communications. Pre-trial.
8th arrest. Last arrest was on the 15th for giving false name out of Forsyth County. That's open. Got an open shoplifting out of Milton. 2020 possession of controlled substance. 2020 reckless endangerment conviction. 2018 possession of a controlled substance conviction. This was level 2.
All right.
Yes, sure. In this case, law enforcement spoke to the victim, Ms. Tiana Woods, who is on the line, who advised that I believe it was the current girlfriend of her ex-boyfriend had been calling her, harassing her from a period of October 13th or October 20th. Several of these phone calls were recorded and provided to law enforcement where the defendant was threatening to harm and to fight the victim. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond, a no contact with the victim is Tiana Woods, a stay away from her home. That address is 224 Calibre Springs Way. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we would sound for Miss Woods. I believe she is on the line under the name of Tiana Novena.
All right. Tiana Woods or Tiana?
Yes,
Yes. Do you wish to address the court today?
I do.
All right. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes,
All right. You put your hand down. Are you in fear of Miss Shizelki?
yes.
Okay. Do you want to have any contact with her?
No, absolutely not.
All right. Any cross-examination?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
No, not from you. That
Oh.
would have been Mr. Walker. All right. We will proceed. You can mute yourself. I thank you for coming on today. All right, go ahead, Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask for a signature bond in this case, given my client's lack of any violent history, understanding that she does have a few cases pending right now. Our biggest concern here, Your Honor, are twofold. First and foremost, that my client does not work. My client receives disability and she does receive food stamps. She has a family member who assists her with rent. Our concern is that if she were to receive a $2,000 surety bond, that she simply would not be able to make it. Furthermore, Your Honor, we do have no objections with a stay away order. We have no objections with no further contact. My client has indicated to me that she also does not want to have any contact with Miss Woods, who just spoke. And furthermore, Your Honor, my client does have some health concerns, which she does receive medication for, and that is another reason why we would ask for a signature bond so that she could get out of custody as soon as possible.
And Your Honor, I apologize. I did omit some information. This actually is a co-defendant case. The victim's ex-boyfriend, who is the defendant's current boyfriend, was also arrested for harassing communications. He was on yesterday's calendar. He was granted a $2,500 surety bond with similar conditions. So I will amend my request to match what was put in place yesterday for this defendant's co-defendant, who is her boyfriend. So the state will ask for those same conditions with a $2,500 surety.
Okay. I am concerned, and she has what, 2 open cases?
Yes.
All right, I will order a $2,000 surety bond. And with that surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Tiana Woods or Tiana Melvina. Stay away from her address or her location. All the boxes will be checked on the order so that there will be no kind of communication by email, by text, by Instagram, by Facebook, no means of contact, not even by other third parties. And you to stay 200 yards away from her. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that
Understood.
should
Thank
be
you,
it,
Your
I
Honor.
believe.
Position number 12.
This is 23 CR 008030A. Holly Thomas Doobie, charge of 1 count of theft by taking. Pretrial.
You said Doobie?
It's a hyphenated last name for 12, or is it
Oh,
coming?
first arrest, jail is a recommendation.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. It's my understanding that the defendant works at the Nordstrom Cafe located within the Nordstrom at Lenox Mall, 3500 Peachtree Road. It was ascertained that the defendant was ringing in false or fictitious orders and it was refunding themselves a refund from an order that was never placed. In the end, the defendant took $164.45. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. Stay away from the Nordstrom Cafe at 3500 Peachtree Road. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right. Mr. Trejo.
No objection, Your Honor. We don't object to the signature bond or the stay away order.
All right. I will order a $2,000 signature bond through, let's see, how old is she? 24-ish,
She is 28, Your Honor.
28. And I'm assuming this is her job where she works at the Nordstrom's Cafe?
It was her job, Your Honor. She's no longer employed by them.
All right, I will grant the $2,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order, obviously, a stay away from the Nordstrom's Cafe and the Lenox Mall. No further contact with, I guess, any of the employees there. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should be it.
Great. And I did see that Mr. Jordan put in the chat that we have an interpreter present for position 5. He is somebody who, or yes, position 5. He is somebody who will need to be interviewed with the interpreter present. So if we could have a breakout room to do that and
Well, I
perhaps
gotta
attend
get
to
an officer to come into the courtroom to take it to courtroom 3 to do the breakout session.
Okay, great. Whenever you all are ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
Position number 6 is next.
6. This is 23 CR 008025F. And the defendant in this case is Jean Richard Lesperance, and I apologize for mispronouncing the last name, charged with 1 count of battery family violence pretrial.
16 total. 2021 petty theft conviction out of Florida. 2021 failure to appear. 2020 battery conviction. 2019 disorderly conduct conviction. 2018 battery conviction. That's all.
All right. State.
Yeah, brief facts of the case is that on December 18, 2023, the officer was dispatched to the BP gas station located at 11425 Haynes Bridge Road in Alpharetta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia. In reference to an assault, the caller reported that a male was assaulting a female. The officer made contact with the defendant, who stated that his girlfriend did not want to take him where he wanted to go, so he took the car keys. He stated that there was a tussle over the car keys. The officer also made contact with the victim in this case, Danyetta, Danyetta, last name Brown, traditional spelling, who had some blood around her nose. She advised that there was a struggle over the car keys and that the defendant had punched her several times. She stated that it happened so fast. The defendant is the boyfriend of the victim, and they lived together. A witness also reported that the defendant forcibly grabbed the victim and shook her. Our office was not able to get in contact with her, Your Honor. So if we could sound for Ms. Brown at the conclusion of the state's request, that'd be greatly appreciated in accordance with Marcy's law. But the recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from that BP location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Your Honor. We have no objection to the signature bond through pretrial services. However, we would ask that the no further contact provision be changed to no further violent contact, given that the two do cohabitate. He has been in Atlanta for about 1.5 years and is gainfully employed and is stable, and this is his first arrest, and the first time in Georgia, and his first arrest for this kind of offense, and the first time that they have had any kinds of issues.
And Your Honor, the state would just object on the basis of insufficient cooling off period, and the victim is not here, and she can later amend the bond if necessary.
And we would also just say that the cooling off period is not a mandatory condition for this types of cases. Some states do have that statutorily. Georgia is not one of them. And again, given the fact that they haven't had any issues in the past, Your Honor, and that they do cohabitate, we would ask for no further violent contact. If the court is inclined to do a no further contact provision, we would ask for a law enforcement escort, because he will need to, that will effectively be a stay away order from his home as well. So we would ask for a law enforcement escort so that he can retrieve his items. But again, our contention is that he should get the benefit of no further violent contact.
All right, I'm going to order a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order the 1-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. I'm going to order a stay away from the joint residence. Don't have that address because I think this is, and also I guess a stay away from the BP as well. So do we have the address for the stay away?
We have the address for the BP. Unfortunately, we don't have the address for the stay away. I don't believe so.
We do have that. I can put that in the chat, Your Honor.
All right. And a one-time law enforcement escort for him to go back to retrieve his personal items.
Hey, what level was this? Because it was level 3 as a recommendation. I guess due to the violent history convictions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll do level 3.
What was that amount?
2,500.
2,500. All right.
Mhm.
No contact.
Right, no further contact.
Was it anger awareness or no?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Position 7.
This is 23 CR 008026F. Octarius McConley, charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence, pretrial.
18 total. Last arrest was December 8th out of the cab. Cruelty in the third. Battery DV, driving without a valid license. Open case in Superior Court, our Superior Court. 20 SC 177719. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana. 2019 FTA. 2019 probation. 2018 probation. 2017 obstruction conviction. 2016 probation and obstruction. This was level 3. That's all.
All right. State.
Your Honor, brief facts from the state is that the defendant struck the victim in the face. The victim was pregnant at the time with the defendant's child, and they have been living together for roughly about 8 months. I do believe that they live with the defendant's sister. That incident location is 780 Magnolia Way, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, apartment 205 in Atlanta. In Fulton County, the victim's name is Tyler, Tyler, Williams, traditional spelling. If we could sound for her in conclusion with the state's request. But the state's request is a $3,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim in this case, stay away from that incident location, the completion of a family violence intervention program, and given some representations that were made in the warrant, Your Honor, that are MH issues, the completion of a MHET.
All right. Mr. Trejo?
I believe this is Miss Woodbury's case, Your Honor.
Oh, Miss Woodbury, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
You're on mute.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. McConley is from Atlanta. He's been in Georgia his whole life. He's 27 years old. He does have 2 children here. All of his family is here. Judge, he tells me that he was working at the Waffle House at Georgia State, and before that he was working at Starbucks. He does deny the allegations in the warrant, Your Honor, and I will point out these allegations are from back in July. As far as the residence, the 780 Magnolia Way, he tells me that's his sister's house and that Miss Williams has moved out. So I would ask that he be allowed to return to that residence. And if the court is inclined to do a no further contact, we'd ask for a third-party transfer of the children.
And Your Honor,
I just want to add, his finances are limited, Judge, so we are asking for a signature bond today.
And Your Honor, if I could just add that the warrant makes out that the idea that he broke out a window in his sister's home to get to, I guess, the victim in this case and to slap her. And then he also, in addition to that, threw some scissors at the sister who is the owner of the home. And so that is further evidence that there should be a stay away from that incident location. Then also pretrial stated, but I want to point to the open firearm case, 20 SC 177198. 198 here in Fulton County. And then there's an open cruelty to children in the third, driving while without a valid license, but more importantly, battery family violence out of DeKalb. That is a 2023 case. We have not been able to ascertain whether or not it's the same victim. We're in the process of doing that, but I just want to point out that this case does have sufficient violent history. And then there's also a 2018 conviction with a firearm, a possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. And so we do believe that he's a danger in that sense, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from the location and no further contact with the victim. And let me ask this, I guess, before I continue. They've been living together since the incident? Do we know?
We don't know. Have we sounded for the victim, Your Honor, if we could do that? But we don't know. Our office has not been able to get in contact with her, unfortunately.
All
Judge,
right, the
he
victim,
tells me they have not been living together.
oh, they have not, okay.
That's what he
And
tells
is
me.
Tyler, right, is Tyler Williams on? I don't think I see anyone with that name. All right, so then he can continue to stay away. No further contact with the victim. If they are transferring children, that will be precipitated by a third party. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And 3,000 surety. And I believe that is it. Does
And
he need
Judge,
an escort back at all?
that's what I was going to ask, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And a one-time law enforcement escort back to the property to retrieve any personal items that he may still have there.
And Your
Thank
Honor, are we not doing the MHET?
I haven't heard any evidence about it.
I didn't want to speak on it. We typically go into the breakout rooms, but I didn't want to speak on his exact diagnoses. But but it's written all over the warrant, unfortunately.
Well, does he need an updated eval?
Likely.
Or either should I just say continue with the
Judge, I mean, I don't know how much we want to get into this without going into a breakout room. We could just say continue with treatment.
Mhm. Okay. I'd rather just say that continue with treatment for any MH issues.
Thank you.
Okay.
Add on position number 1.
This is 23 CR 008034D, Orlando Strickland, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
15 total. Last arrest was 2021 out of Spalding County. Suspended license. He got put on probation for that back in May, so he's on probation for that. 2021 battery DV dismissed. 2010 false imprisonment. Battery DV first offender. He got a Spalding County hold. This was level 2.
You know, brief facts of the case is that it looks like on December 15, 2023, the officer was dispatched to 1500 to 131 Market Boulevard, which is actually a Comfort Inn. In reference to a domestic dispute in progress, the officer made contact with a hotel receptionist who advised that they had been getting calls to the front desk in reference to the defendant yelling at the victim, possibly a physical altercation that happened in room 131. When the officers arrived at room 131, the defendant himself answered the door and appeared to be downplaying the situation and advised that the victim was not available. Officers were persistent. Eventually, the victim went to the door. And the officer immediately was able to see red marks and scratches on her face. She was asked where the marks came from. She, while in the room, stated that they were old. The officer then asked, could they speak alone? To which the victim agreed. As they were walking to the hallway, she had a hoodie on, but the officer did notice some injuries to her face. He asked her he told her that they did not look old. She said, I know. She then said that she was reluctant to tell them about the injuries because she was afraid. She stated that they had, they had gotten into a physical altercation. She stated that they've been in a relationship for 5 years and living together. One moment. She states that happens frequently, I guess, when he drinks alcohol. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact, a stay away from the Comfort Inn location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program. And the victim in this case name is Andrea, Andrea Cochineal, Cochineal. If we could sound for her in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, Your Honor.
Okay. Is that Andrea Cochineal? On the call, Andrea? Don't think so. Go ahead. Is it P.D. Woodbury?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Strickland does deny these allegations and maintains his innocence. He is 55 years old. He was born in Atlanta. He has a mother and father in the state. Judge, he is a disabled veteran. He tells me that he served in the Army from 1988 to 1992, and he was honorably discharged. He also graduated from high school and did some college while he was in the Army in Germany. Judge, we are asking for a signature bond, given the fact that he is a disabled veteran. As far as the conditions go, we would certainly object to the FVIP course. That's an extensive 24-week course that is very intensive. And given that these are just allegations, we would object to that condition.
All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. And with that surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Andrea Aquilini, or however you pronounce her name. Stay away from that Comfort Inn hotel. No further contact with the victim. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be it, I think.
Thank you.
Position number 9.
And Judge, I was under the impression that position 9 was being null prossed due to a statute of limitations issue.
Yeah, that's correct, Your Honor. The state will be submitting a null process.
All right,
Thank you.
all right. You hear that, Deputy?
Yes, ma'am, I heard him.
Okay.
Position 4.
This is 23 CR 008024G. Maurice King, charged of 1 count of battery family violence, 2nd count of simple battery family violence. Pretrial.
10 total. 2022 Fayette County DUI. 2022 reckless driving conviction. 2018 possession of a knife, firearm during the commission conviction. 2013 theft by taking conviction. We got a parole hold. On parole for, I think, ag assault.
Okay.
Yeah, the brief facts of the case is that on November 29, 2023, the officer was dispatched to 4122 Shoals Point, South Fulton, Georgia, 3029, here in Fulton County, Georgia, in reference to a fight call. The officer spoke with Nadria, Nadria Roy, who stated that she and her daughter, Naris King, who is also a victim, were involved in a verbal altercation and a physical assault, and were physically assaulted by her daughter's father, the defendant. Ms. Roy stated that she and the defendant were involved in 2 verbal disagreements earlier that day. Ms. Roy also stated that the defendant had left and then returned to the residence hostile. She stated that she asked him to leave, and he continued to argue with her inside the residence, waking up their daughter. Ms. Roy stated that the daughter, Naris King, came downstairs and began to argue with the defendant. Ms. Roy stated that the defendant stated that he isn't the father of Ms. Roy's child, and Naris King, the other victim, replied so a few times. And so Ms. Roy stated that the defendant then charged at Ms. King and struck her on the left side of her eye with a closed fist. Ms. Roy stated that in an attempt to protect Ms. King, she jumped on the defendant's back and grabbed a cast iron stovetop grate and struck the defendant a couple of times. She stated that the defendant was able to flip around, grab her and the daughter and dragged them to the dining room from the living room. She stated that he began to strike her multiple times as they continued to fight for about 25 minutes. Nerese King agreed with Miss Roy's account of the incident. Miss Roy did have visible scratches and bruises. The officer did notice that the residence also was disheveled. Our office has been able to get in contact with both victims, Your Honor. I don't believe that Miss Roy will be on the Zoom, but if we could sound for her at the conclusion of everything, that'd be greatly appreciated. But she stated that the defendant and her had been on again and off again for 22 years, and that they do not reside together. She states that the defendant has been verbally and physically abusive to her throughout their relationship. She confirmed the events that were in the warrant. She also stated that she sustained a knot to her forehead and a couple of twists of her hair that were pulled out of her head. She states that she wants no contact, for the defendant to have counseling and anger management, and for him to stay away from the residence at that 422 Shoals Point address. In speaking with the second victim, Ms. King, she advised that she is the daughter of the defendant. She states that she and the other victim, her mother, live together. She states that this is not the first time she stated that this is the first time that anything has happened like that. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated that she sustained bruising to her body and neck. She states that she wants a no contact. She wants him to complete anger management and to stay away from that 422 Shoals Point residence as well. The recommendation from the state in this case is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, to have no contact with either victim in this case, to stay away from that 4122 Shoals Point address, and to complete a family violence intervention program. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
All right. Phoebe Woodbury.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. King is 41 years old. He is originally from Queens, New York, but he has been in Georgia since 2015. He does have family in the state. He has aunts and cousins in the state, and he is gainfully employed. He works as a machine operator at a company called Schweed and Sons, which is a meat processing facility. Judge, he tells me that he received 12 staples in his head the night of the incident. So I think there will be questions about who the primary aggressor was. He also has a parole hold, Judge. So he's not, even if he were to post bond, he's not going to be getting out of jail. So for that reason, we would ask for a signature bond. We would object to the FFIP course as a condition of bond because it, like I said before, it's such an extensive course and he has this parole hold. That's our position today.
And Your Honor, I believe that both of the victims may be on, so if they could have the opportunity to speak if they'd like.
Okay. Adria Boyd. Miss Boyd. And then the other, was that Maurice King? Maurice King. I don't see those names on the Zoom.
They're on, I guess. I mean, for the record, they are on, but we must not want to
If
speak.
they don't wish to address the court, then I'll move on. I see the Nadria. Okay. Nadria, do you wish to address the court? If not, go ahead and mute yourself. Okay, she's unmuted, Mr. Jordan. I don't know if you can mute her. If she comes back, she may start talking.
Just her sound is turned off, so she's gonna have to activate her sound if she
Oh,
wants.
okay.
Oh, she's probably talking.
Can't hear you, Miss Boyd. And I'd have to be able to see your face as well. All right, I'm going to.
And it's Roy. I'm sorry. Maybe she's confused by that, but it's Roy, Nadria Roy.
Oh, Nadria Roy. Nadria Roy.
I sent her a message, Judge, but I need to
Send her a
get,
message, yeah.
I'm not sure if she knows how to work this in.
All right, we'll move along. I'm going to um order a $3,000 surety bond, 2,000 on the battery, 1,000 on the simple battery, for a total of 3,000. I'm going to I don't know if they live together or not. I see this happen on November 29th.
Well, they specifically asked for a stay away, both of them.
They did. Okay. All right. So stay away from 4122 Shoals Point, I guess, a park in South Fulton.
Point, yes.
Okay. No further contact with either victim, Nadria Boyd and Maurice King. No drugs, alcohol, guns, or weapons while on bond. And I don't know if there needs to be a police escort back or not.
We would request one, Your Honor.
Okay, put it in the order. A one-time law enforcement escort to return to the property to retrieve his personal items if there are any still there. And you must enlist the services and the help of the police officer, Mr. King. Do not go back by yourself. And that should be it.
Thank you, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Position 3, head.
This is 23 CR 008022E Barbara Head, charged at 1 count of criminal trespass. Pre-trial.
18 total. 2011 FTA, possession of drug-related objects. Simple battery DV. Jail. That's it.
All
Yeah,
right, state.
brief facts of the case is that on December 16, 2023, the officer responded to a report of a woman trespassing inside of a yellow food mart located at 911 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest Atlanta in Fulton County, Georgia. The dispatch advised that the woman had received a previous criminal trespass warning at that location. The officer spoke with the store owner, looks like Mr. Cam Ruzaman, K-A-M-R-U-Z-Z-A-M-A-N, who pointed to the defendant and indicated that she was not allowed on the property. Mr. Cam Ruzaman also informed the officer that there was a prior case number, and he said that the prior case number was when she was warned not to come back on the property before. That incident date was November 4th, 2023. The officer asked the defendant if she had knowledge of the prior warning, to which she responded that she did. Mr. Cameron also advised that he asked the defendant to leave more than 5 times. Recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away from the incident location.
And we're in agreement with the signature bond, Your Honor.
All right, I will order a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order stay away from the food mart and no further contact with the victims in the case. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you.
And that should be it. Okay.
Position number 11.
And I believe that's Mr. Trejo's client, and I think he's still in the breakout.
He's still in the breakout.
Is Diallo Mamadou being reset?
He was transferred, upgrade.
Okay, the whole case was transferred. Okay, thank you.
What position is that?
He's not on here.
He wasn't on the count. He was just on the pull
Oh.
sheet.
On the pool sheet. Okay. Okay.
Woodbury, you have anybody else?
Mhm.
I don't think I do.
You have Brown, maybe?
I don't think so.
State, I didn't see a Jeremiah Harris on the pull sheet.
So he was on yesterday's calendar. I can advise the court what happened, but maybe we should wait for Attorney Trejo.
Oh, actually, I can
Okay.
handle Jeremiah Harris and Leanna Morley. I can handle the announcements on those.
So Mr. Harris, he's 17. He had a bond that was set through pretrial services, standard conditions. I think it was Mr. Cook representing him yesterday. He was having a hard time identifying a co-signer for pretrial. So the judge reset to today to see if
So
anyone
we
identified.
Thank you. So we did get in touch with his mother, and the last I heard was that she was picking him up today. And she was listed as the co-signer, so he should be being processed out.
Okay.
Is he in the courtroom, deputy?
No, ma'am, he's not.
Okay.
Okay, so he's being processed. Okay. So we'll take off Jeremiah Harris.
And then I do have an announcement on Leanna Morley. What position is it? Position 8.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a similar issue where we were trying to locate the cosigner. Yesterday, she gave the name of Rochelle Price, but we haven't been able to locate that person. I did locate a different adult today that says she can co-sign. So I'm wondering if we can modify the order. The adult I located is named Bridget Simpson, and I can send that spelling to whoever needs it.
Who is she?
What was that?
Yeah,
Who is Bridget
who is she?
Simpson?
So she runs a nonprofit organization called Bard Business Organization, and I spoke to her and she said she's willing to sign. I don't know if that works. But
She's
Miss Morley, go
Yeah.
ahead.
She's not related to her.
Oh, it has to be someone related to her?
No, not necessarily, I don't believe. Does it pretrial?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know if we need to go in a breakout room, but her mother is aware, and I'll leave it at that. I'm sure the court can read in between the lines, but
Mhm.
she's 17 and she needs somewhere to go. I
Right.
don't know what we do with that.
Is she gonna go? There's this Bridget Simpson with this nonprofit. Does she have a place for her to stay?
It
Or is she just
sounded
gonna
like
co-sign and then let her go?
she might be able to connect her with some housing resources through the nonprofit.
Is she still in high school, the defendant?
I didn't specifically ask her that, but I would believe so, but I don't know.
And we have a number for this Miss Simpson.
Yes.
You may want to try to call her to see what she intends on doing or what she can provide. I just
Okay.
don't want just a name of a person who comes down, signs her out, and then puts her out, and then she's just on the street. Because I would have put some conditions of a curfew, going to school, all those kind of conditions on her as well.
Okay. Can I take a moment to see if I can reach Miss Simpson now?
Yes, I think we'll take a little 5-minute break while both of you all are. I think Mr. Trejo's still in the breakout. Let's take a 5-minute recess and see
Okay.
what we can find out.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And I've had sufficient time to interview Mr. Lay. That is position number 5 with the interpreter. So we're ready to proceed with the calendar whenever the court is ready.
Okay. All right, is everybody ready on this one? And that's him in courtroom 3. That's Mr. Lay in courtroom 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Interpreter, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly affirm that you will faithfully interpret from, is it Vietnamese
Yes, ma'am.
to English and English to Vietnamese, the proceedings before the court today in an accurate manner, to the best of your skill and knowledge with no embellishments?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Put your hand down. All right, let me call this case 23 CR 008023H Ziton Lee.
Tuấn Ly, cái kê của công tố ngày hôm nay là công tố Tuấn Ly.
Charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property.
Và cái tội đó là đã nhận cái của cái tài sản ăn cắp.
All right, pre-trial.
Này là trước khi mà cái bữa này là để coi cái trước khi để phân xử cái tòa trong tương lai.
First arrest jail was a recommendation.
Okay.
One
Your
more time, what was the recommendation there?
Jail. SOB jail.
Understood. No objection.
We'll try to keep the facts as brief as possible, but essentially the victim met a person on, looks like seeking.com.
Cái này là những cái người mà bị nạn nhân á là seeking.com.
It is believed that she stole the victim's phone.
Thành thử là người ta ăn trộm cái điện thoại.
Officers ultimately caught up with her because there were some money transfers that were made from the phone, I believe.
Rồi có trả tiền cho cái điện thoại này.
Which brings us here. Officers executed a search warrant on the residence and a vehicle.
Rồi khi mà cảnh sát tới nhà người ta, cảnh sát để khám nhà đó và khám ở trong xe luôn.
During the execution of the search warrant, the defendant was also in the apartment.
Thành thử khi mà cảnh sát tới có cái warrant, có cái trác tòa đòi á, thì cái có thấy ông Tuấn Ly ở trong cái nhà đó.
It appears that the defendant and the subject of the search warrant share a child together.
Thì có đứa con của của ông ta ở trong cái nhà đó luôn.
During the search warrant, during the execution of the search warrant of the apartment, the officers found a sling bag that it was discovered to contain multiple forms of identification of the defendant.
Thì khi mà cảnh sát tới khám nhà đó thì thấy trong cái túi ra là có vài cái điện thoại nằm ở trong cái túi đó.
Specifically contained the defendant's paychecks and an iPhone 15 Pro Max that was new in the box with the victim David Kellum, Kellam's name printed on the label.
Rồi thì trong cái túi của ông ta đó thì là có cái paycheck của ông ta, rồi có cái điện thoại 15, mà trên cái số điện thoại 15 có cái tên của cái người mà mua cái điện thoại đó, tên là Calum.
The defendant stated that everything in the bag belonged to him.
Rồi ông ta nói là những cái điện thoại đó là của ổng.
However, when the officers questioned him and showed him the iPhone, the defendant stated that the phone obviously belongs to someone else because their name was on it and that he did not steal the phone.
Tuy nhiên á, thì cảnh sát hỏi ông ta đó, cái điện thoại này đó là có phải của ông ta không? Ông ta nói là không phải, là tên của cái điện thoại đó cũng không phải luôn.
The recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no contact with the victim.
Rồi chúng tôi yêu cầu đó là jail time, rồi không cái lúc ra là không có được liên lạc với lại cái nạn nhân.
But our office has not been able to get in contact with him, the victim, Mr. David, traditional spelling, Kellum. But if we could sound for the victim in this case in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Tuy nhiên văn phòng của chúng tôi chưa có liên lạc được cái người bị mất cái điện thoại đó là Mr. Kellum.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. David Pelham. On the call, David Pelham. Don't think he's on him. All right, PD
Pelham.
Trejo.
Okay, I thought
All
somebody
right,
had
PD
responded,
Trejo.
Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. No
Okay.
objection, and we don't believe that a stay away or that a no contact provision will be an issue.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, David Pelham. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Trong khi mà là cái tiền mà tại ngoại hầu tra là 2.000 đồng, và cái điều khoản thứ hai nữa đó là không có được liên hệ với Mr. Kellum, thì trong lúc mà tại ngoại hầu tra đó là không có được uống rượu và xì ke ma túy.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, and then there's a stay away as well from, and where's our stay away from?
I don't believe that was recommended, Your Honor.
It wasn't recommended, but
Not
I can put it on the record. 55511 Abercorn Avenue in Dunwoody, Georgia.
Không có được tới cái nhà 5 năm ở can you say that again? The
5511 Abercorn, Abercorn Avenue, Dunwoody, Georgia.
là không có tới cái địa chỉ là 55 mà 11 Abercorn ở Dunwoody, Georgia.
And Mr. Solicitor, what address is that?
That is the address of, I guess, where the third party allegedly stole the stole the phone.
Yeah.
So this is the victim's address.
The victim's address.
It's not, it is the victim's address?
I believe it's the victim's address.
Okay, okay.
Không được tới cái địa chỉ đó, là cái địa chỉ đó là cái chỗ mà đã tới cái đó là chủ của cái điện thoại bị mất.
To be safe, I think we should just not put the stay away on.
Okay. Okay, we can take it off. We'll take off the stay away. There's no further contact with the victim under any circumstances.
Tòa bỏ cái vấn đề mà cái vấn đề mà stay away, nhưng mà không có liên lạc được, không được quyền liên lạc với nạn nhân. Yes sir. Yes.
Right. Sorry. So that will be it for the court today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tòa hôm nay là xong.
Position number 11.
And Judge, I just want to let you know, Miss Simpson is now on the Zoom regarding the Leanna Morley case.
Excuse me, Judge, can I be excused? You are mute. Thank you.
We lost your volume, Jess. I think your mic went out.
Yeah. Goodbye, Judge.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Jim.
Okay. Oh. Okay. All right, I will just kind of do it from here since my other one is messing up for some reason. Apologize for that. As they say, having technical difficulties. All right, so we're ready to start with position
Number 11.
11. All right. This is 23 CR 008029G. Lewis Thomas. Charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Pre-trial.
Did we do Thomas already?
There's 2 Thomases. This is the second one, position 11.
Hold on.
One,
Right, you did 12.
one was a female, name hyphenated.
Right, that was 12.
This is Lewis or Louis
Okay.
Thomas.
27 total. Got an open giving. I thought I gave this history. Got an open giving false name out of Forsyth, shoplifting out of Milton. Open DV, battery DV 21CR005 496G. Got an open case in Superior Court. Criminal attempt to commit a felony and battery of a sexual nature. 22 CP 213170. 2017 battery DV PTI. 2017 trespass conviction. 2016 trespass simple battery DV. 2014 and 13 probation. If pre-trial, this was level 3. Just an FYI. That's it.
Yes, Your Honor. I just want to bring the court's attention to the open additional case that we have in state court that pretrial mentioned, 21 CR 005496G. That battery family violence is with the same victim. In that matter, the defendant was ordered to stay away from the same exact incident location and to have no contact with this victim. He was granted a surety bond in that matter, and here we are 2 short years later. But again, in this matter that we have today, law enforcement was dispatched to that same incident location, 4900 Delano Road. They spoke to the victim, Miss Alexia Bennett. She advised that
dropped off
her and her
again.
child's
Mr.
father were in a disagreement. She
Mr.
tried to
Walker?
diffuse the situation and tried to, what happened?
She dropped off again.
Oh my, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, she's back now.
Did she hear the history?
So we got both of your devices this time, but they're both on mute. You're still on mute.
Okay, I'm gonna close off the other one.
Did you hear the history?
Maybe 2 or 3 things. Can you give it to me again?
Okay.
I heard something about open shoplifting was the last thing I heard.
Oh, you missed the good stuff.
Oh.
Clean record, clean record.
27 total.
Go ahead.
Giving false name out of Forsyth. That's open. Open shoplifting out of Milton. Open case out of Fulton. Battery DV. It's 21 CR 005 496G. Open Superior Court case. Criminal attempt to commit a felony. Battery of a sexual nature. 22 CP 210170. 2017 battery DV PTI. 2017 trespass conviction. 2016 trespass simple battery DV. 2013 and 2014 probation. And if this was pretrial, it's level 3 was the recommendation. That's
All
all.
right.
Yes,
State.
Your Honor. And that other open battery family violence case that's in state court, 21 CR 005496G. That pertains to the same victim in the same exact incident location. In that case, the judge who was Judge Law ordered a stay away from this incident location and no contact with this victim. That was 2 short years ago. Which brings us to this case, and here we are yet again. Law enforcement was dispatched to 4900 Delano Road, where they met with the victim, Miss Alexia Bennett. She advised that her child's father and her were engaged in a verbal disagreement. She tried to defuse the situation by leaving their home, but he did block her and grab her and throw her to the ground multiple times. I believe he also drug her by her hair. He eventually punched her in her mouth, busting her lip, and the officer did observe a busted lip on the victim. The state is at this point asking for a $5,000 cash bond, another no contact, and another stay away. And of course, we have grave concern for this victim's safety as they already have one open case and was already ordered to stay away from this location and to have no contact. He had a surety bond in this matter, so the state feels it's more than appropriate to have a cash bond along with no weapons, drugs, or alcohol. And we are also asking that he attends a FVIP course while out on bond.
Okay. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 38 years old. He is from Bainbridge, Georgia, but he has lived in Georgia his entire life. He lived in the Atlanta area for about 4 years. He did graduate high school and has some college. And he works in IT maintenance for McDonald's, and they've actually identified him to advance further in his role with them, to the point where he is not just doing IT for one store, but he's doing IT for multiple stores. And he's been gainfully employed in that for over a year. He does have 2 minor children that live with him, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. He pays the bills at their home. In addition to the 2 children that live with him, he does have 3 other children, Your Honor, that he does provide for. He pays child support, and he which he is up to date on. And he does support the other children who do not have child support orders. Even the ones who don't live with him, he gives them about $1,000 a month. Your Honor, in terms of his child support obligations, he in this last month he just spent a total of $1,500, and that is supporting all of his children across the board. Our biggest concern here, Your Honor, is that a $5,000 cash bond my client is the equivalent of no bond, that my client would not be able to make that bond under any circumstances, and that he would remain in custody while this case is pending. We would be asking for a surety bond of no more than $2,000 in this case.
Well, I'm very concerned about the second case against the same victim. I understand he may have a pretty good or decent job, but what he's alleged to be doing after work concerns me. And, Judge Law just gave him a bond 2 years ago. So I'm certainly not going to allow him to have a signature bond.
Briefly, Your Honor, one other piece regarding this other case. My client obviously denies all the allegations against him. However, my client also, when police reported to the scene, the police observed marks and scratches on my client as well. So our contention would also be that there is more to this case than my client being the aggressor.
Well, there's something going on there, for sure. I am going to order a $3,000 cash bond. And with that cash bond, I'm going to again order no further contact with the victim, Alexia Bennett. Stay away from her address, 4900 Delano Road. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I don't normally order the FVIP while they're on bond. I guess he can get started with it if he'd like to once he makes bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Yes, Your Honor. And while and if he is going to have the stay away order, we ask for a one-time law enforcement escort, and then further, Your Honor, we would also ask for third-party transfer of the children. And I do want some clarity on the FVIP. So that is not a requirement. Is that what the court is saying? However, the court is encouraging him to take part in that.
Yes, it's not going to be a requirement, but I am encourage
Understood.
him to go ahead and start on it.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Right, with the stay away, excuse me, with the stay away from that address, can have a one-time law enforcement escort to return to that property to retrieve any personal items. I am not going to order any visitation, third-party visitation of children. I don't know if they're legitimated. I don't know if they've been married. I don't have any information on that. And I'm kind of concerned about the allegations and the
And
two
Your Honor,
cases.
the state is object to the one-time law enforcement escort. Reason being, he was already ordered to stay away from that property 2 years ago, so he shouldn't have anything at that property in the first place.
Yeah, I want to make sure the victim is safe. I want to make sure the victim and the children are safe. Let me take that off for the one-time escort because I don't want to bring any more danger to her.
Well, and our only response there, Your Honor, is of course, understanding we can't change what's already happened, and understanding the conditions that Judge Law put on my client 2 years ago. The reality is that that was his primary place of residence. So whether he should have been there or not, he still is going to have all of his possessions at that address.
Well, I understand the state's concern, but when we have the same allegations a second time, I want to make sure that the victim is safe. And maybe he can have a third party to pick up his items from the victim and he not go there. Maybe I'll allow that.
Understood, Your
But
Honor.
he's going to have to somehow have that communication with that third party to her. He cannot communicate with her. And maybe that person can go pick up the items.
Understood. Would that not violate the no further contact, even if he is going through a third party?
No, just to pick up his personal items. I'm going to have that in the order just for that. The third party can call her if it's a cousin, friend, or relative to go by and pick up whatever items of clothing he may have there.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Thomas does appear that he wants to be heard. I would just ask, Mr. Thomas, remember you have a Fifth Amendment right, and remember that you are on the record if you do choose to speak in this case.
Briefly. It's still on mute.
Hey, like she don't have a job. They don't turn off all the food stamps and the child care. I was paying all that. It was like I don't feel that I'm a threat to them. I basically help them and get disrespected every day. But I woke up, her dad was standing over me saying that he would beat me. And I woke up and then they called the police on me for me providing for my family. That's the only thing I be doing there, and she asked me to come back because she don't have help at that house. And the only thing I asked her was, why is she trying to leave at 1 o'clock in the morning? I have to go to work at 4.
Once again, Mr. Thomas, regarding the facts of the case, be careful because you are on the record.
I understand it, but at the same time, like I'm being put up under the bus, and I'm the one who provide, and I'm not causing harm to nobody. I work every day. And
well, there's allegations of her having a busted lip, I believe, and something else that the state says, so we want to be careful, make sure that she and the children are safe. And so your attorney can apply for a bond modification later. But Mr. Walker and his office will be providing services to her. Maybe you can reach out to her again, Mr. Walker, to see if there's some help that she can get to take care of herself and the children while the defendant is out of the home.
But this is my second job that I've lost working on like in this situation. This is my second job. I had a government job. Now I'm down to like the lowest job ever. And I just spent like all my money catching up with my child support. And I just got my license back Wednesday, trying to get back on my feet, get back right. I'll leave out the house if that's what it takes. Just let
Well,
me.
that's what we said.
But
You're
like
not.
this $3,000, I can't do that. I just paid 1583 Wednesday plus $176 just to get my license and get my child support call up all the way. I just did this Wednesday. Is it possible that I can just get out and I'll leave? I go back to Bainbridge if that's the case, and I start all over again. But me,
Well, I think you should go back to Bainbridge. I'm just not going to let you out on a signature bond. That would,
but can it at least $3,000?
So Mr. Thomas, we have the bond situation figured out. We have the bond situation figured out. Let me just leave it at that, right? So again, be careful what you continue to put on the record.
But I don't have $3,000 cash.
I know that, but we have, trust me, we have it figured out.
your case will be reset for December 28th, and then they will look at it at that time again. Okay.
All right.
Okay, number 13 is the next person.
Okay. Do we still have the lady? That was the case that was from yesterday, right?
Oh yeah, Morley.
Yeah, I forgot. That's not on the
Yes,
calendar.
Judge. Bridget Simpson is on the line to talk about being a co-signer on that case and to talk more about her organization.
Deputy, let me hear from her first and then let her go if we're going to allow her to co-sign on the bond. And what was the defendant's name again?
Morley.
Leanna Morley, position 8.
Having trouble getting off of mute. Good afternoon, Judge. My name is Bridget Simpson. I am the executive director, and we have our deputy director, Denise Rubin, on the line as well.
One quick second. Hold on 1 second. Let me swear you in first. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead. I apologize.
No worries. As I was saying, my name is Bridget Simpson, and I am the executive director. My apologies. I'm traveling. I'm not in town, and I'm the executive director of Bard Business. And our deputy director is also on as well. Her name is Denise Rubin.
And you're not driving, correct? Have you pulled over?
No, I'm not driving. Oh,
okay.
No, I'm not driving.
I'm
in a U-Haul.
Is she driving? Right. If she's driving.
No,
okay.
No, it's a he that's driving.
He. Okay. All right. Just making sure
we're
all is pulled over.
Most definitely. Yes,
okay.
no hands.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not. I absolutely would not commit a crime like while I'm on court. No, no. So yeah, so our organization, Bard Business, we're located in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Dunbar Center, and we actually have housing. We have 2 houses, one in East Point, one in Ellenwood. And what we do, we handle all things around justice impacted people, helping to reacclimate folks into the community. And we actually help to bail folks out and help to house them so that they're able to defend themselves. We provide services like it's called participatory defense, where we help people to work through their cases with their attorneys. So that is some of the offerings that we have. We have we participate in the Black Mamas Day bailouts. We participate in Freedom Day bailouts with Ebenezer Baptist Church. So we are pretty staple in the community. I'm also on the Human Relations Commission in the city of Atlanta, have been for a little while now. So I'm pretty stable in the community and just want to do our part around helping folks to navigate through the legal system.
Okay, so you'd be willing to co-sign for Liana Morley?
Absolutely.
All right, and we haven't set bond yet, have we?
Well, there was a bond that was set yesterday. It was
Oh,
already in the
that's right.
UJR through pretrial services. But Your Honor, if I could, I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Hi, is Ms. Simpson. So will you guys be able to provide long-term care? Because Ms. Morley, while she's out on bond, this might last for over a year. So she cannot go home. Go ahead.
So we provide care throughout the process where people are waiting to go to trial and actually defend themselves. We provide that care as well as we help to provide care after. We are a membership-based organization, so she would be a part of the BART business family. So the answer would be yes.
Okay, and then do you guys provide services to the juveniles? Because she's 17.
Yeah, she is 17. So there are a few different things that we would need to work through. Obviously, because she is 17 and would need to physically get the permission of her original caretaker. So yes, yes, she's 17.
And then a couple more questions. With her being 17, there was an issue of her attending school. I don't know if you guys have transportation, so she'll be able to attend school, because that's something that we typically order 17-year-olds to do to remain in school.
She most definitely has to go to school.
Okay. And then you said you were traveling. Do you know when you'll be back here locally?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I jump on my flight in the morning
Okay.
and we'll be there by in the afternoon.
Okay. That's just the only questions I had. I just want to make sure that.
And Judge, just to briefly add, she will have an attorney with our office, and we have social workers and can, supplement. This is more just about kind of the urgency of getting her out of jail.
Okay. All right. Well, we will do that and allow Miss Bridget Simpson and her nonprofit to be co-signers on the bond.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Walker?
No, that's it. I
Okay.
wish the defendant well.
Right. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you, Ms.
Thank you.
Simpson.
Position 13.
Okay. This is 23 CR 008028J, Dontavius Wright, charged with 1 count of theft by taking. Pre-trial.
Total. Last arrest was 2020 battery disorderly conduct. 2018 disorderly conduct dismissed. Couple of probation violations from 2015. 2014 theft by receiving conviction. 2013 theft by deception, no low. This was level 2.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor, and this defendant was on the C counter yesterday for a separate theft incident. But in this matter, law enforcement was dispatched to 891 Thurman Street, where they spoke to a neighbor. He advised that the residence is a home that's being built by building design builders. He observed the defendant load up an SUV with unused lumber that was intended for this building project. The defendant does have a history of theft. Eventually, this will be a felony. I'm working to get certified copies of 2 previous theft convictions that are on the defendant's GCIC. Currently, there is a $10,000 surety bond in place. The state is asking that it sit as a $2,500 surety. Stay away from that location, which is a construction site, 891 Thurman Street. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right. And you're requesting to reduce the bond to 2,500 surety?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Mr. Trejo?
We have no objection to a reduction, Your Honor. However, we would ask for a signature bond at this time as well. Your Honor, my client was given a bond for a theft. Well, I believe it's a loitering and prowling charge that arises from the same incident. He was given a $1,000 surety bond, which was posted. So this theft by taking charge that was added to that same incident is what is keeping him in custody. Your Honor, my client does have a substantial history. However, some of his most recent charges in Fulton County were null pros. That's a battery charge that was null pros in 2022, a marijuana charge in 2016 that was null pros, and a 2013 battery charge that was also null pros. And he has the last guilty plea that I could see in Fulton County was from 2012. Your Honor, my client has told me that he has turned his life around. He lives with his parents. He has lived in Atlanta his entire life. He lives in the home that he grew up in with his two children that he does have custody of. His children are 16 and 18. He is gainfully employed. He works at an antique store that's part of the flea market on Jonesboro Road. In addition to his employment, he's also the caretaker for his 18-year-old cousin. And he does take care of his parents and help them with the home. He graduated high school, Your Honor, and in addition to the work that he does already as part of his career, he had previously received help from the United Way Chapter 211 here in Atlanta. And since he graduated from their program, he does still do Feed the Homeless, and he still does volunteer work with them, and he does volunteer building houses with some other local organizations. Regarding the facts of this case, Your Honor, according to the warrant, there were two other individuals who were arrested. Those two, when the police showed up, those two individuals fled. My client immediately spoke with police and immediately surrendered to them. Regarding the theft charges here, Your Honor, it's my client's representation that that he received a call from some friends of his who, as far as he knows, work construction, saying that they were getting off work late, that they needed to be picked up. They started loading things into his truck. As far as he knew, he had every right, or they had every right to be moving that material. And then that's when the police were called and when the police showed up. Of course, my client denies all of these allegations. However, that's just giving the court some more background information as to what may be going on. This isn't a violent charge, Your Honor, and given the fact that he already posted bond on the other count, wrapped up in the same incident, we would ask for a signature bond on this charge.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to clarify a lot because this is not the same incident. It's two different dates and two different addresses, and the recitation that you gave is completely inaccurate. He did not speak to the police. They actually had to find him by searching his tags, and they went to his home. The case that was on yesterday, it happened a week apart, and it was a separate address. That was the address on Mim Street. This occurred on Thurman Street, and you said that he changed his life around. He has theft convictions going back to 2014, and this happened just last week. So I'm not sure how he could possibly change his life around in less than a week. And again, this is a separate case from yesterday, two different dates, and two different locations. Same facts. I mean, he's going from home to home stealing lumber, but this is not the same matter that was before the court yesterday. And he was not on scene when police arrived. They had to track him down through his tags.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Your Honor.
Well, with the surety bond, I will reduce the surety bond to 1,500 and 1,500 surety bond, stay away from the incident location. And I'm gonna almost say, no further contact with the co-defendants. Are there how many co-defendants in the well, there are other cases, so maybe I won't go that far. I guess he just needs to choose his friends wisely. But to stay away from that incident location. Because he wasn't arrested with other people, right? They went to his house
They went to his house by searching his tags, Your Honor.
But there are other co-defendants, correct?
I don't know if they've been arrested.
I don't know if they did.
Warrant
Okay.
it says that I think three individuals were cited. But I believe he was the only one that was able to be tracked down since he was driving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he was arrested.
Right. Well, the best I will do, 1,500 surety. Stay away from that incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'll just leave it at that.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Is that it, Mr. Jordan?
That's it, Judge.
Oh,
Position 1 is a $2,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 3 is a $1,500 sign-on bond jail. Position 4 is a $3,000 surety, reset SAP, 2,000 for charge 1 and 1,000 for charge 2. Position 5 is a $2,000 sign-on bond jail. Position 6 is a $2,500 sign-on bond pretrial, level 3. Position 7 is a $3,000 surety, reset SAP. Position 8 is amending the bond order to release to Bridget Simpson as a co-signer. Position 9 is null pros. Position 10 is $2,000 surety, reset SAP. Position 11 is a $3,000 cash bond, reset SAP. Position 12 is a $2,000 sign-on bond jail. And position 13 is a $1,500 surety, reset SAP. Position 1 on the add-on is a $3,000 surety, reset SAP.
Let me ask you just to make sure I wrote this down right. Position 2 was what again?
So there was no
Add
change
an
to the
error.
bond condition,
Oh.
Judge. They said his mother was gonna pick him up today.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's the other 17. Okay.
He said from
And then
yesterday.
what was 3 then? What'd you have for
Position
3?
3 was a $1,500 sign-on bond jail.
Okay. Yeah, I think I just got cross-eyed there. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Bye.
Steelers.
Bye.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.